Hello CraftDee Family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's DIY project, we'll be creating this really cute snowman inspired by a Christmas decor piece that I saw at KIRKLAND'S. Now I thought that this item was so sweet with the galvanized accents and wood plank details, and I wanted to recreate this look using Dollar Tree items. Now for your convenience, I provided the list of supplies and tools used to make this project in the description box below. Now, I'm so excited to share this tutorial with you, but before we start, I wanted to say hey, and welcome back to my fantastic subscribers and visitors to my channel. Now, if you are a new visitor to my channel today and you love to create fun and easy DIY projects on a budget, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also click that notification bell so you will be the first to know when a new DIY tutorial is ready to share with you. So now, let's just jump right into the project. Now here's the inspiration photo for this project. Now I absolutely love the rustic look of the wood panels in this piece and the galvanized accents on the scarf and the hat. Now this piece was marked at $29.99 on the site, but I knew I could recreate it using just a few items from the Dollar Tree. Now for this project, we'll start with this foam board from the Dollar Tree. We'll need a sheet of white poster board from the Dollar Tree that we'll make into this galvanized sheet. And we'll need these 12-inch dowels from the Dollar Tree. Now the first thing we're going to do is to take our foam board and we want to mark the height of each tier of the snowman. Now the bottom will be at 8 inches high, the middle will be at about 6 inches high, and the top will be 4 inches high. Now in order to start with a round base, I'm just going to use the Dollar Tree pizza pan as a guide. Now what I'm doing is just marking the rounded sides evenly, and then for the next two tiers I'm just going to make the sections slightly more narrow, and I'm going to use those height marks as a guide. Now when all the sections are marked, we can cut out the body of our snowman, and to do this we're just going to use an X-Acto knife with a sharp blade. Now make sure you don't throw out those scraps because we will be using those later. Now once our snowman is fully cut out, you want to make any adjustments to the shape as needed. So next we can start making the plank accents. Now I'm going to start in the middle, and you want to take your ruler and you want to mark a line right down the center of the snowman, and then make an additional plank line on each side about 3 inches away from that center line. So once we made our 3 lines, we are going to paint those lines onto the board. Now I will be using this elephant gray acrylic paint to do this. Now you just want to apply the paint on top of those lines that you made, and you want to be kind of imperfect since we're going for a rustic weathered look. Now after all of our lines have been painted, we're going to take our chip brush, and what we want to do is just apply a tiny bit of that paint to the brush, and we want to dry brush each plank along with the grain. And once our dry brushing has fully dried, we are going to apply a 5-gallon paint stick down the back, and this will prevent our snowman from bowing. You just want to apply some hot glue to that paint stick and press it into place in the center. And you can see here it is nice and flat. So now what I'm doing is drawing the facial features on the snowman. Now I'm just going to start by drawing a smile for our guy here, and then I'm going to draw on a carrot style nose. And then I'm going to draw the eyes right on top. And then all I'm doing here is I'm just going to go over those drawn features with a black Sharpie, or you can use a paint pen. Now for the nose, I'm just going to partially outline it because I want it to look kind of like a shadow. Now I'm going to start painting, and I will start with the nose, and I'll be using Harvest Orange acrylic paint, and I'm just going to use a small brush and apply a couple of layers to the paint to the nose, and then let it completely dry. So now I'm grabbing one of those scrap pieces of that foam board and I'm going to work on the snowman's hat. And so for this small piece, I'll be working on the brim of the hat, which is kind of shaped like a bowling pin. Now once it's all drawn, just go ahead and grab your X-Acto knife and then cut that piece out. So now I'm going to grab another scrap and we'll be making the top of the hat with this piece. So I'm just going to take that brim piece and I want to lay it on the top of it near the bottom and then draw on the shape of the hat. Now I'm just looking at my inspiration photo, just eyeballing it, trying to get a shape to match. So then we're just going to go ahead and cut it out, and we want to leave about an inch or so at the bottom so you can attach it to the brim. And once both pieces sit well together, we can attach the top of the hat to the brim with a bit of hot glue. Now once the pieces are dry, we're going to take some black acrylic paint, and I want to paint around the outside edge and also about a 1-inch band around the front of each piece of the hat. Now while we're painting, we're going to go ahead and take 2 of those 12-inch skewers and we're going to cut about 2 inches off each end. Now these will be for the arms of our snowman. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue that piece that we cut off as shown here to the skewer to make kind of a hand. And we just want to apply hot glue to secure it in place initially and then lay that down and apply an additional squeeze of that hot glue to that joint to secure it. Now we're going to repeat this with the other skewer. Now once this first layer of hot glue dries, flip them over, apply another layer, and this should hold those pieces nice and securely together. Now once they are dry, you can go ahead and paint them with a layer of that black acrylic paint and then set them off to the side. So now we can start working on our galvanized accents. Now I created this using a sheet of Dollar Tree white poster board. I embossed it with 1/2-inch lines on the back and then spray painted the front with silver spray paint. Now while it was wet, I dabbed it with a paper towel to create some texture. Now I will place a link to my instructional video on how to do this in the upper right hand corner of this video and also in my description box below. So now we're going to go ahead and take that hat piece and we want to lay it on top of the poster board and we want to trace the top portion of the hat onto the poster board. Now once the top of the hat is traced, we're going to go ahead and trace on the brim piece as well. Now we're just going to go ahead and cut that portion of the poster board out, and once those pieces are cut out, we can go ahead and use an X-Acto knife or some scissors, and you can cut each one of your pieces down to size. So now you can take your cutout pieces and test fit them on your foam board hat piece. Now once you do that, you're just going to go ahead and mark and trim as needed and make sure that they're slightly smaller than the foam board. Now for that bottom edge, just run your fingers across it to get that crease, and you want to press it against the brim and you can cut a line where it is marked. And now you can see that it fits perfectly. Now we're going to do the same thing with the brim piece. So now that the pieces are all cut, we can go ahead and fan fold them on those embossed lines that we made when we created the sheet, and this makes sure that the folds are nice and even. Now we're going to open them back up and we are going to hot glue them in place, and we want to apply glue to the folds that come in contact with the foam board. You just don't want to lay it flat and press it down. You just want to place the glue on the folds of that poster board piece. Now once that top is done, we can fan fold and apply that brim piece, and we're going to do that the same way. And now your hat piece has all the pieces applied. Now our inspiration piece on our snowman had the brim piece in a black color, so I'll be using that black acrylic paint to paint over the brim piece. And here is our hat all finished. You just want to let it dry. So while that is drying, go ahead and grab that poster board again, and we're going to cut some strips out for our scarf. Now measure and cut out a 2.5 inch strip. And then for our second cut, we're going to cut it kind of at a curve, and this will look like our snowman's flowing scarf. And then we can go ahead and fan fold all of those pieces. So now go ahead and grab your snowman, and we can cut and fit all of the pieces. Now here is a good time to trim off all of the edges to fit the space on your snowman. Then once everything looks good, we can start to apply the pieces in place with glue. You just want to keep in mind to apply the glue to the folds that touch the board for the best adhesion. We're just going to first apply the neck piece around, and we don't want to press it too much on that left side because we'll be taking this straight piece and we'll kind of snugly fit it in under there before that glue completely sets. And then just apply hot glue to that piece on those folds and gently secure it in place. And then finally, our flowing piece, we're going to sit this on top of the neck piece, and we're going to apply this in place on those folds with hot glue. And then finally go back to make sure all the very edges are secured as well. So now we can add our hat to the snowman. Now you just want to apply some hot glue to the back of the hat, and you want to place it right on top of the snowman. Now I needed to add some rosy cheeks to my snowman, so I used some of this pink acrylic paint, and I'm just going to dry brush it on with very little paint, and I'm just going to apply it in a circular motion. Now off camera, I also did cut out this little snowflake from that poster board as well, and you can make any snowflake pattern that you like. You just want to hot glue it to the bottom left hand corner of the snowman. So now we can add our rust accents to the metal, and I'm going to use a dark brown and a red acrylic paint. Now I'm just going to mix and blend the two colors, but I thought it needed to be a little darker, so I'm also going to add a touch of black acrylic paint as well. Then you want to just randomly apply those paints along the edges and folds of those metallic pieces on the scarf, the snowflake, and the hat. There's no rhyme or reason to this. You could do it to the level and amount that your heart desires. Now once this all dries, we're going to move on to the next step and add those arms. You just want to lay the painted dowel pieces on the back of the snowman facing at an upward angle, and we're just going to secure them into place with hot glue. And here it is all put together. Now, you know, this project would not be complete without covering up the back. So I'm going to be using some brown craft paper to cover all of the raw work. Now, all you're going to do is just apply some hot glue around the edges and along the center and open spaces in little sections at a time, and then press that paper into place. Now, when applying the glue, you just want to smooth it out as you go, and this will help you to avoid any wrinkles. Now, once the paper is all glued into place, we can just trim off the excess with our X-Acto knife. Now, you just want to trim off the paper close to the snowman's edge all the way around, and just be careful, don't cut off the snowman's arms. And now we are ready to display it. So here is my $30 inspiration piece on the left and my $3 Dollar Tree version on the right. Now, was this a hit or a miss? Let me know in the comments below. Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following She's So CraftDee on Facebook for the latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. Thank you so much for visiting and checking out my tutorial today. If you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below and turning on that notification bell. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.